Sunday evening. Hello. I hope that you've had a really good, relaxing Sunday on this long weekend. I guess we get one more day for some of us anyway, an extra day off. I know my boyfriend who works Monday to Friday, that's certainly true for him. So it means more projects because that's what we do on the weekends. We just project it up, it seems. And yesterday I was talking about sort of that crunchiness around just another project, like something else to do. I don't want to do anything. I'm exhausted. And how today I was going to make sure that I rested more. And I know for me, rest is really important, but it's one of those things. It kind of reminds me of, about 16 years ago when sort of trauma hit our family and I found myself wandering around feeling like I got hit by a Mack truck and that I was responsible for 3 small children. And that I was pretty much by myself doing that. My depression was severe. My anxiety was ramped. The sort of the things that go along with depression, like not wanting to see anyone, being an agoraphobic for nearly 5 years of that time in the last 16 years, certainly going into hiding. I know that the notion of relaxing at one point in time felt like a death sentence. It felt like the only thing that I would ever do with my life. And it was so scary because at the time it felt really real. And there was no way for me to know, because I didn't have any evidence to support that at any point in time in the future that was going to be different or better, so to speak. And so I think that sometimes I still have that electrical charge of fear that happens when I want to relax because I've been so productive lately that relaxing feels like giving up a little bit, feels like surrendering to a place of unknown, at least when I'm doing my tasks and I'm on track and I'm, according to my list, when I'm doing life according to my list, it sets a safety structure for me. And at one point in time, that structure would have felt like a death sentence. It would have felt like too much to do. But there was a point in time when, getting my head off the pillow in the morning was an accomplishment. Just being able to get up, make sure that my kids made their way to school, had enough to eat, had all the clothing and housing needs met, that felt like a monumental task. It felt like a daily, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And so fast forward, granted 16 years later, and it's been chip, 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 chip. Every time that I turn around, I'm really dedicated to healing, and I'm certainly dedicated to creating, breaking cycles in our lineage of abuse in our family. But all of that didn't come without pain and anguish, hard work, tears, sweat, blood. Sometimes it felt like, certainly, while I was raising kids in unknown territory. And I was wandering around kind of lost. And I didn't have a lot of help. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know what I needed, so I didn't know how to ask for help. And B, I was kind of isolated. We lived in a small town. None of our family was there. It was easier to tuck in, similar to what I'm finding with this COVID-19 thing, right? We've been asked to stay at home for the better part of 2 months. We've been asked only to go out when it's essential. And as the parameters get relaxed, particularly when it's beautiful and sunny out, it's spring and everything, all of a sudden there's a hustle and bustle going on. And when I'm in it, I feel the anxiety of that. But today, when I wanted to relax, and I was fighting against myself to allow myself just to do that, because I've become busy in the doingness of this whole thing, and I'm doing really well. I'm doing extraordinary things that I've always wanted to do, that I've always intended to do, that I've never actually had enough chutzpah to get up and actually create these things that I say that I want. And at one point in time, that was literally a distant dream. It was way back there. And it was a glimmer of hope at one point in time. A glimmer. And when I say glimmer, I mean one granular of sand. because I remember thinking to myself, life is so bleak. I will never laugh. There will never be a time when I will feel joy. I will always be this dark, deep, drowning, essentially hard to breathe, definitely hard to live, unfocused, unkind to myself, wandering around lost. And so I have to remind myself, literally have to remind myself, that that is long past history. It is not a place that I will revisit. Not willingly, anyway. I will continue to choose to get up and be on task, on purpose, moving forward. But what I noticed today was when I actually gave myself the permission not to do so many things on my list today, and I didn't even make my list as big as I normally do, knowing that when I do that, I see those things, and if I don't accomplish them, I then count them as a failure. And then I start beating myself up. Oh, you didn't do that. You should have done that. Oh, we're going to just turn it on to tomorrow's list because that's the way you do life. Instead, I just negated putting them on the list and allowed myself several times today to relish in the nothingness, to just be and be okay that I was being in that moment. There were several times when I plugged my earphones in so that I could meditate and go into that zone place that feels really comfortable in my body, where my adrenal glands are not on lockdown and I don't feel like I'm choking or gasping, trying to catch up or keep up with it all. And I think sometimes as human beings, we are so convinced that we need to be doing something all the time that we load ourselves up. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the overload. I'm feeling the effects of loading myself up to the point where I can barely breathe. And yes, I'm accomplishing things, but sometimes I feel like I'm bleeding out of my eyes, which is not healthy. And I'm thinking needs adjusting. And that's what this is, right? An adjustment. We have an opportunity during this period of time to adjust, to get quiet, to listen to what comes up, and just be okay with it. So yesterday I was crunchy. Today I woke up feeling similar to that. And I was like, wow, another day of this? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't want to do that. And I was kind of irritable. And it was affecting people around me. And then within a couple of minutes, I got really clear. Do I want a repeat of some of the things that happened yesterday that I consider not effective, not very nice, not very kind? And how can I make that different today? And so I got really clear really quickly that it's going to take me shifting my attitude and being willing to move off the position of, I don't want to, I'm mad, I'm irritable, whatever the stuff is, and just honoring that it's okay to be. And then practicing that. And it's been a practice all day because there's still lots of things to do. Like I said, weekends are project weekends. That's what we do, is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of projects. But what I notice in that, today, giving myself the grace to calmly just be in certain situations, that some of those projects that I did accomplish today felt a lot more fun. They were a lot more fulfilling and they were a lot more light and airy, which definitely feeds my soul. And I wonder, is there somewhere in your life that you could be kinder to yourself, gentler to yourself, give yourself the grace to be exactly where you're at? And then notice when you're off kilter and turn it around in a very short amount of time. It's not that I will never go to those places. I regulate how long I stay there. And that's the difference. I don't care who you are, master or otherwise, in the intention of there is no such thing as perfection, but as we're practicing, understanding that it is not that nothing negative will ever happen to me. It's not that I never will be in a bad mood. It's not that I will never be affected by the things going on around me. It's not that. But it's my responsibility, my ability to respond to things that really matters. And so I can choose to stay in that place, the grungy place, and I can even notch it up because I'm good at that. Poke, 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 poke until I get this massive response, and then all of a sudden we're engaged. And it's not what I truly want. If I was to tell myself the ultimate truth, I don't want to be at war with my family and my friends. I don't want to be having this crunchiness with my boyfriend. That's not what I want to be doing. But for some reason, it satisfies something in that moment of needing to release stuff. And instead of saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and this is what I'd like to do about it, I go poke, 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 poke. And instead of staying in that place, instead of standing in that muckiness, I choose at that point in time. So I don't have to move out of that place. Certainly I can stay there as long as I want. But is it affecting other people around me, and is that fair? And what can I do? What will I do in that moment? So today, allowing myself just to be and be okay with it. And not be aggravated when my boyfriend's off doing something with his boat and I'm waiting for him. And shifting that energy and that attitude towards fulfilling things that I want to be, do, and have in a day. So today, that was more meditation for me. It was more quiet time, resting with my eyes closed. It was allowing myself to debrief. And instead of pile some more stuff on doing, and being the human doing that I've been doing lately, again, all really amazing accomplishments, all really forward moving, all really, kudos. Yay. But I don't have to keep up that momentum every minute of every day in order to feel accomplished and feel good enough. I'm good enough just because. And so are you. And I wonder how often maybe you beat yourself up over about the things that you're not doing, or the things that you're thinking, or whatever's going on for you in that moment. And I wonder if you have the ability to respond in a different way to yourself and others when you find yourself in that position where you're up against it and you keep hitting it over and over again, backing up and going, so if I told myself the truth in this moment, what do I really want? And generally, usually, it is harmony. Generally, usually, it is peace. Generally, usually, it is harmonious love, balance, peace, whatever that is. But it's that loving, tender feeling. It's not the crunchiness. It's not that why are you? And why are you? And why are you? And we can do that out in the world, can we not? The world is full of high-stress people that don't necessarily know how to deal with being kind to one another. I certainly see a lot more of that, but I also see a lot more aggression. And I think that stands to reason when people feel bottled up, locked down, unable to communicate in the ways, and unable to touch, feel, experience people like they normally have. There's some tension there. And that tension builds and builds and builds and builds until it literally has so much pressure, kind of like a pressure cooker, that it needs to let off steam. And so today, instead of just marching around and charging around and being yucky, I decided a very short time after starting on that foot that it wasn't the foot that I wanted to land on today. And so I shifted my attitude. I went and got vulnerable with my boyfriend and said, look, this is how I'm feeling. These are the reasons why I'm feeling it. I don't want to have a repeat of yesterday. Could you please just hold me for a moment and allow me to readjust my energy so that I can then get focused and we can start moving forward with today. And when I came at him from that position, the vulnerability, the accountability, the responsibility, he was all over it. If I had come to him and said, I don't know why I'm feeling like this, it probably wouldn't have gone so well. But when I allow myself to get into the position where I am wanting to shift something, and I'm then able to tell the truth from a very vulnerable point of view instead of this edgy, scratchy, grungy, crunchy place, the effect is very much more considered on the other side as reasonable, attractive, something that they want to participate in. You know, this whole thing's just about practicing. So I hope your Sunday practice went well today. I hope that you rested. I hope that you got some rain in the morning and some sunshine in the afternoon like we did here. I hope you're kind to yourself and others when you're at home and out there in the world. So much love and respect. Love you. See you tomorrow.